True that you guys have actually broken into his private email account. How difficult would you say it is?
You mean out of 10?
Sure, out of 10.
1.
1.
This is a 15-year-old kid who hacked into the most secretive organization in the entire world. For him, this was just a fun game.
And you smoke pot?
All day, every day.
It's October 2015, CIA headquarters, Virginia. John Brennan receives a call from an unknown number. The caller appears to be a kid who tells John that he has hacked all CIA systems. Normally you might think it's just a prank call, but this wasn't any ordinary person. It was the CIA director, and somehow someone had his personal number. This is the incredible story of two daring kids who shocked the world by orchestrating one of the craziest cybersecurity breaches in history, from manipulating the accounts of celebrities to accessing the personal information of several high-ranking US officials to leaking critical information online. These audacious kids triggered a chain of devastating consequences. However, they will pay a heavy price for their actions. In 2008, Virginia, a young boy who liked to call himself Default, got immersed in the world of competitive video gaming. One day, he got into an argument with someone in the game who threatened to hack him. Suddenly, his computer went to a blue screen and wouldn't boot up after that. And just like that, Default got himself in the world of hacking. He began changing the rules of online games to his advantage, just winning. Around that time, a decentralized hacktivist group, Anonymous, was in its heyday. If you managed to get access to their secret chats, you get a first-hand view of their activities. Anonymous was one of the biggest online vigilante group members who hacked into companies and governments worldwide. Young Default was fascinated. Anonymous embodied an exciting spirit of freedom through chaos. They showed how you could force the whole world to pay attention without even having to leave their bedroom. Inspired by this power, Default was eager to master everything about hacking. However, after hanging around Anonymous's chats for a while, he began to notice its flaws. Although all users were anonymous, so were the feds that were infiltrating it. No one could be trusted. So Default got involved with offshoot hacker groups. One of them was called AnonSec. The group positioned itself as anti-anonymous, but similar to Anonymous, it carried out hacking initiatives, mostly for political purposes. Initially, Default enjoyed hacking into celebrities' accounts. Once he got into Seth Rogen's account, got his cell phone number and called him just to tell him that he loved his movies. The AnonSec group used botnet, that is, they created viruses and spread them on the internet. Whichever computer the virus went to, it came under the control of AnonSec. All the computers having the virus were called botnet. As a member of AnonSec, Default had access to this network. He discovered that one of the computers in the botnet belonged to a medical college in Canada. He worked a little on that computer and got access to the financial records of the college. He saw that the school had collected more than $9 million from the students. All these records were now with Default, so the entire administration of the medical college was shocked. This first hacking was just a prank. His next one was driven by anger. As recently as 2014, while countries like Germany, the UK and Sweden had already banned bestiality, it remained legal in Denmark, leading to an increase in animal sex tourism. Despite years of effort, Danish animal rights activists had little success in drawing attention to this issue. Default, deeply attached to his own dog, was particularly disturbed and outraged by this, so they hacked Denmark's official website, posting the message in large letters, "Do you know that your government allows cruelty to animals?" Not only this, Default targeted and disabled all websites supporting this law. The global outcry became overwhelming and finally, unable to withstand the pressure, the Danish government withdrew the controversial law the next year. It marked Default's first major victory, yet, as usual, the credit went to Anonymous. He did not like that. He was sick of it and decided to leave AnonSec. That's when he met Cracker, the head of a hackers group called Crackers with Attitude. Default thought the things they did were really cool, so the two started talking and were completely on the same page about being really pissed off about the government and also about a lot of things going on in the Middle East. Although Cracker was just a 15-year-old in Leicestershire, England, and Default was in the US, their beliefs united them. Default wanted revenge against the US for violating his people's privacy, while Cracker aimed to retaliate for the attacks in the Middle East, particularly on Gaza. For both teenagers, the enemy was the American government. Their first move was to throw the phone number of James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence, out there for the whole internet. Now anyone could give him a ring to casually say hello or ask how the whole spying gig was going. They wanted more. They set their sights on a more high-profile target, CIA Director John Brennan. Cracker began researching John Brennan online and discovered a public phone number linked to Verizon. Posing as a Verizon employee, he contacted their tech support, claiming to address a customer's technical issue. The Verizon team requested his PIN code, which he had previously obtained through hacking, to verify his identity. Once verified, they shared John Brennan's personal details with Cracker. Now, Cracker had John Brennan's account number, backup mobile number, address, and last 4 digits of his bank card. The next step was to get into Brennan's email. He found out the last 4 digits of Brennan's account were important, which Cracker already had. This way, the CIA director's personal email account was in his hands. He opened his private email, which contained crucial and top-secret documents, data on other CIA officers, their social security numbers, and government instructions. By the time Brennan was alerted and it was reported that his email had been hacked, he immediately closed his account. However, it was too late. Cracker had already downloaded all the data. He began releasing the official documents one by one, causing an uproar across America and tarnishing the CIA's global reputation. The authorities were desperate to catch them quickly, yet they struggled without any leads. Days after contacting John Brennan, Cracker posted the personal information of 9,000 Department of Justice and 20,000 FBI agents on social media. After doing all this, Cracker was living his life comfortably. He thought that perhaps it was impossible to catch him. Meanwhile, Default, residing in the USA, grew increasingly worried. He was super paranoid and was afraid that if he was caught, he would be completely ruined. He knew he was making powerful enemies. He never used his own Wi-Fi. Instead, he connected through a satellite dish to a free Dairy Queen Wi-Fi half a mile away. Whenever he turned off his devices, he ensured they were encrypted, and upon turning them back on, he waited 30 minutes for decryption. He kept his activities secret, knowing he had so much to lose. Ultimately, all this wouldn't be enough to protect him when he made the mistake of dating an ex-girlfriend of a friend. He had asked this friend for permission beforehand, who assured him it was fine, though it turned out not to be the case. One night while drinking and chatting over Xbox Live, Default slipped up. In a moment of arrogance, he bragged about the CIA director hack as it was being reported on the news. He admitted his involvement, never imagining his friend would take the information seriously or betray him. Now Default is convinced that his friend turned him in. One day, FBI agents raided his small room just as his computer finished decrypting. They pointed assault rifles at him, dragged him out, and made a flash copy of his hard drive before it could re-encrypt. They seized all of his equipment. At that moment, Default knew he was finished. In England, Cracker was also raided by the British police, who confiscated his computers. Because he was underage and in the UK, he received a lenient sentence, spending 2 years in a juvenile detention centre. His real name is Kane Gamble. Today, he's keeping his head down and is done with crime. He just wants to make a career in cybersecurity and move on with his life. Default, or Justin Gray Liverman, even though he was less involved, paid a much higher price. He was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, fined $145,000 in restitution, and due to corrections regulations, he spent a significant portion of his time in solitary confinement. Now he's a full-time trader. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button to be a part of our community, and see you in the next video.